National Physical Activity Guidelines are vitally important as they provide fundamental, evidence-based recommendations for both the quantity and mode of physical activity that is required. The aim of this study was to use the National Physical Activity Guidelines to make a relative comparison with objectively measured individual physical activity levels and evaluate the risk of chronic disease. Within this study, one 50-year-old female, free of cognitive impairment and any diagnosed disease, with no current injuries or injuries sustained within the previous 6 months, and who is not currently training for sports competition, took part as a self-selected participant. The participant's height, mass, BMI, and the volume and mode of physical activity levels were objectively measured across a 2-week period. Data obtained from this observational study was quantified, compared to National Physical Activity Guidelines, and it was concluded that the participants successfully engaged in the recommended amount of weekly physical activity. Despite this, there is an opportunity for recommendations that could improve the participants' future outcomes. These include increasing the steps per day to between 9,000 and 11,000, incorporating consistent muscle strengthening activities on at least 2 days per week, increasing the cumulative weekly volume of vigorous physical activity, and reducing the amount of time spent sedentary, in this instance, prolonged sitting at work. Considering these recommendations, along with the participants' own personal objectives, which were identified through a face-to-face consultation, a SMART goal was established to guide the development of a 12-week physical activity intervention program. Given the participants already meeting the guideline for the total volume of physical activity, the focus of the intervention program is to build on current levels and continue to reduce sedentary behaviour, as much research supports an inverse dose-response relationship between physical activity and all-cause mortality. National guidelines recommend undertaking at least 2 days of muscle strengthening activities per week. However, consultation with the participant revealed a desire to exceed that. Hence, the goal of consistently undertaking 5 strength sessions per week was set. Emphasis was placed on strength training as the participant is a 50-year-old menopausal woman. Therefore, osteoporosis is a health condition that is of particular concern. The Institute of Health and Welfare reports that the estimated prevalence of osteoporosis, a condition characterised by diminished bone density, increases with age, with approximately 23% of women aged 50 and over living with the condition. Strength training has been identified as an effective way to build bone density to prevent osteoporosis, therefore justifying this program's strength training emphasis. In addition to strength training, yoga was also included within this program to provide an element of balance and flexibility training that may have otherwise been neglected. Research examining the effects of yoga practice has concluded that static and dynamic balance, along with strength and flexibility, were all improved. Furthermore, the benefits of yoga go beyond the physical, with many recognising the mind-body connection and emotional clarity it yields as its greatest rewards. The program was broken down into 4 3-week mesocycles. Training frequency, intensity and total volume were manipulated across each mesocycle until the final 3-week block, when a variation on the traditional 1RM was programmed as a means of measuring absolute strength. In order to measure progress, the participant recorded performance outcomes from each training session. In addition to the performance log, daily steps, strength training attendance and yoga attendance were all recorded to create accountability along with intrinsic motivation. While this physical activity intervention program is 12 weeks in duration, the aim is to create habits that contribute to long-term physical activity improvements and exercise adherence. In an effort to foster a client-centered approach and promote self-efficacy through the program, the participant was consulted face-to-face to determine a set of SMART goals that aligned appropriately with their personal needs, along with the recommendations from the observational study. By involving the participant, self-efficacy was facilitated as it ensured that the demands of the program were realistic and could be successfully met. Developing an understanding of the participant's previous exercise experience ensured that the exercise program commenced at an appropriate level and could be progressively overloaded across the 12 weeks. The participant was already meeting the physical activity national guidelines. This intervention program served as a significant opportunity to demonstrate that the value of physical activity is uncapped, and with smart goal setting, an individual can continue to achieve personal objectives, prevent chronic disease, and enjoy the improved quality of life that physical activity offers.